welcome back to another video, and today, as you might have guessed it, we are talking about my PRS and kind of the story behind it and what I use it for. So ever since the day that I got this guitar, I have had a love-hate relationship with it. And what I mean by that is there have been several times where I'm like, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to go get something else, and I'm just going to put the money towards another guitar. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, I'm going to hold on to it, and it's going to stay in my guitar arsenal for, the foreseeable future. So, kind of the story behind this guitar, I've had it almost for a year now, and when I first got it, I did a video on it, a new Guitar Day video and everything. But this one is a 2015 PRS Standard 22, made in America, and it's got the coil tap and everything, which is cool. You can split these into single coils, and I got it because I was at our local music store here in Mansfield, and my buddy, you might know him, Robert Baker, was in the store showing our old manager one of the new rev amps. I think it was the D20 at the time, and they were trying it out with this guitar, and I was like, I really like the look of it and everything, and that's kind of what draws me to a guitar, when I first kind of, had my eye on one, is the look. And I ended up trying out that rev amp with this guitar as well, and I thought it just felt great. I thought the action was great and everything, and Robert was like, you should buy it, man, and I was like, well, if Robert says so. So I ended up getting it, and I played it that weekend at my gig and everything. I only played it on a few songs, but I played it, and one thing that really kind of first bothered me about it was the weight. Okay, now you guys know that I love a heavy guitar, and this is the lightest guitar that I own. Okay, this is probably about, I'm going to say 5 pounds, somewhere in there, and that was kind of uncomfortable to play with, because I like having something that I can feel hanging from my shoulder. So that was the first problem with it. The second problem with it was the pickups, and I don't know what these pickups are. I'm not great with pickups and everything, knowing what they are, but I thought, being humbuckers and everything, they would sound really good and sound really fat and meaty and everything. And when I was comparing it that weekend to my Strat, that was the other guitar that I took out that weekend, the Strat was just 10 times louder than this guitar. Not really, but to my mind it felt like it was 10 times louder. So I wasn't happy there, and I was like, well, what am I really going to use this guitar for? So over time, what I ended up doing was I raised the pickups. That took care of that problem. Now they definitely sound hotter than they used to, and they also sound brighter than they used to, because this sounded very dark before. Now, one of my other beefs with this guitar is it's not very comfortable to play. Okay, and it's nothing against PRS. I think they make great guitars. I think they make beautiful guitars. This is one of my favorites that I own to look at. That's part of why I love it so much, is because I love the look of it. But to sit here and play it, it's, this curve that it's got down here for your leg when you're sitting and playing, it has the tendency to want to do this while I'm playing. I'll be sitting here going, and that's not very comfortable. It's not like a Strat, where a Strat just kind of sits naturally on your leg and everything, or even like a 335. It kind of has that Les Paul kind of feel to it, where it's uncomfortable to sit down and play, and because it's so light, it's uncomfortable for me to stand up and play as well. So that was another factor when I was like, well, maybe I should sell it, maybe I should get something else that I really like. But the reason that I'm holding on to it, and the reason that I've kept it this long, is because I needed a really good riff guitar. And I noticed that with this guitar, when I go to play it, I don't really have a tendency to start playing solos and everything. It's more just riffs. And watching Robert's videos and everything, I know that he uses his KM Les Paul kind of as a riff guitar. And I was like, well, you know, I don't have a Les Paul anymore. I used to have one. And Les Pauls aren't really my favorite guitar. I'm not a huge Les Paul guy. Eventually down the line, I would like to have a Black Beauty Les Paul. That would be like a really cool guitar to own. But for the time being, you know, not being a huge Les Paul fan, this is kind of my answer to not having a Les Paul. So, you know, if I was playing like a rock show, like in a rock venue or a rock setting or something, and we were doing like a lot of AC/DC or something, you know. Okay, so that kind of thing, even though that was written on an SG, you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, it's my answer to not owning a Les Paul or an SG. I do like SGs, however. I am planning on getting an SG, probably not this year because I already have 2 guitars that I am planning on getting this year. They're a secret right now. And probably next year I'll end up getting an SG because I've always wanted a real Gibson SG. I had an Epiphone SG when I was like 10 until I was about 14. So this guitar here is kind of my answer to not owning a Les Paul because it kind of has that Les Paul feel to it. It has the uncomfortable Les Paul feel to it, and then it also just kind of sounds like a Les Paul. So it's kind of my answer right there. Now, anytime that I'm running this guitar, I'm usually running into the Fender Machete. I typically don't play this one through the Dr. Z, only because I have the pickup set to be kind of hotter, and that's when like I'll use more gain and stuff, which I typically get from running the Machete. You know, I run my pedal. I can get quite a bit of gain out of my stomp boxes that I use through the Dr. Z, but typically for like recording, or if I'm, you know, doing videos with this guitar, I will run the Machete. So this is a guitar that's never been super easy to play solos on. And part of that is the neck, you know, this rosewood neck. I'm bad with pickups. I'm bad with woods of guitars and everything. But the material of that neck, you know, it's nice. It feels good for playing chords and everything. But as far as like sliding for solos and everything, it's not the easiest to play solos on. So that's another reason why this is like, I consider this my riff guitar. Or if I need to play like a heavier sounding riff, this is the guitar for it. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions, and you know, leave a comment down below. What's your riff guitar? Do you guys like Les Pauls? Do you dislike Les Pauls? Do you like PRS guitars and try to put them in place of a Les Paul, kind of like what I'm doing? You know, and once again, I don't dislike Les Pauls. They're just not my favorite guitar. I'm a Strat guy. If I had to pick my 2 favorite guitar models, it would be a Stratocaster and then a 335. So it's nothing against Gibson or anybody that makes Les Paul replicas or anything, or copies or whatever. I think Les Pauls are great sounding guitars. They're just not super comfortable for me to play, and they're just not the most versatile for what I like to play. But once again, I'd love to have a Black Beauty one day. That's kind of like a desert island guitar for me. But anyway, right now, my solution to not owning a Les Paul is this PRS. So once again, thank you guys for checking out this video, and as always, please be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys checking out the channel, and until next time, we will see ya, stay rockin', all that good stuff.